I'm forgiven. I'm forgiven. Hey.
Are you good now?
Yo, what up, everybody? This is your boy
You good?
Sean Simmons, aka Double S. Yo, listen, you in the field with my boys, the Track Stars. Yeah, holla.
All right, back in the field with the Track Stars, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. All right, as promised, we are going to be talking about the controversy with the Rick Ross song and what that means to us. All right, now if you haven't heard, Rick Ross has a song called You Ain't Know. It's like, you know, it's like letters, acronym, whatever. And he had it, basically what he said is, put Molly all in the champagne, she ain't even know it. I took her home and I enjoyed that, and she ain't even know it.
Wow.
Translation, date rape.
Yep.
Right? So he put those lyrics in his song, and it caused a lot of controversy. And Reebok, who was his sponsor, ended up dumping him. They basically said he didn't show enough remorse for what he said. We don't believe he really condones rape, but he didn't seem like he understood the seriousness of what he said.
Really?
So it brought up a couple questions, and the question we're dealing with is, even if you're not a Christian rapper, even if you don't want to be a Christian rapper, do you have a responsibility in your lyrics? You know what I'm saying? We may not get you to talk about Jesus, but do you and does the public have the responsibility to make sure that they're keeping you accountable? Even if you're not a Christian, you cannot say certain things in your lyrics. It's not acceptable, because this genre, above a lot of other genres, is very, very graphic, negative, perverse. Like it's so much so, and nobody seems to care. What's our response to that?
I mean, I don't necessarily know if they have, if the artists themselves have a responsibility. I think their main responsibility to them, if they're not Christians, is to sell records, right? To sell records, to create buzz. And how do you create buzz other than being controversial, right? And so they continuously stay controversial by going as far as they possibly can. I mean, nobody like blinks an eye if somebody says, you know, I'm going to sleep with your wife. Like, that's not a thing. But that's adultery, and we understand that. But ain't nobody looking at that like it's a bad thing. The only time is when people go this far. When you go so far, then all of a sudden everybody feels like they should respond in a certain way. But there's a whole lot of stuff that these people say. Like, I mean, you know how far they go. And they go very, very, very far. And I don't really see them having a responsibility to stop it. I think maybe the public has a responsibility to hold them to a different standard. But them themselves, I don't think they see a responsibility to keep their lyrics, like, you know, okay. I don't.
Well, I see it constantly happening, and I get a little irritated with apology statements, because I feel like you're only doing that because the controversy was created. Right. If you got away with it, you wouldn't on your own say, oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I feel like artists are trying to see what they can get away with, and then whenever the audience gives them backlash, and it's like this fake apology. I don't think he was sorry.
How often are these artists just surprised that anybody even heard the lyric? Because most time everybody's just, you know, bouncing to the music and they can't hear the lyrics. So,
being the person that I am in the hip hop core and CI, I don't think that's a word, but anyway, he's not the first to do this though. In lyrical content, talking about raping women, right. You know what I mean? Biggie said it. He said something like that. You know what I mean? And I think I don't know why it's so more hard on Rick Ross, because other people have said it. It's not like he's
social media. People didn't know. If you don't listen to Biggie, you wouldn't know. But now, whether you listen to Rick Ross or not, you'll see it on your Twitter timeline.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like people in the past. Almost every
Eminem.
Oh,
definitely.
Trouble, but he really didn't. It didn't affect him. Well, he wasn't marketing about no product anyway, so it didn't affect him. It's actually helped his record sales when that happened. So
it'll probably help Rick Ross, depending on how he spin this.
I don't know.
This could either destroy him or boost him.
It's different. Losing a sponsor is a whole lot different than, you know what I mean, like putting out and getting bad public response. Losing a sponsor is losing money. So that's going to be a huge problem.
But you got to understand this too. It's a lot of stuff that came out about Rick Ross. That he used to be a CEO, that all this stuff that happened to him, but he still like quote unquote bounces back. So I don't think with this situation, I think he may lose this situation money wise, like you just said, but career wise, I don't think it's gonna happen.
But I mean, those sponsorship things are really big, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, but I mean, he may lose.
What other sponsor is gonna take a risk on him?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean,
because I know didn't Sprite take Sprite's with who's it? Drake, right?
Yeah.
And then I think Adidas is Nicki Minaj, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mountain Dew is Lil Wayne.
Mountain Dew is Lil Wayne. Like
now, Lil Wayne says the most craziest stuff.
That's my point.
Does.
I mean, of course, it's bad, but are they saying that this is worse than the stuff Lil Wayne says? My thing is, when they sign Rick Ross, do they not listen to the album first? Do they know what these people are
I think they look at the person who's the hottest. So whoever's the hottest out, they want to be a part of that. They want their fans to get their product, so they don't care if Rick Ross' name is big in the streets. Hey, let's sign a deal with him. He's hot right now.
Well, this is something I've been talking about for a while. Joe Budden was on First Take, right? Okay. And then the very next day, his Twitter icon was a girl doing this. I'm like, if I'm a kid watching First Take and I go like, oh, Joe Budden was kind of cool, I want to look him up.
Yeah.
It's like, this dude ain't about nothing positive. So don't they have some sort of responsibility of who they allowing in front of the people?
They're not. I see a lot of sponsors, and I always see sponsors respond after the public responds to something you already did, right? If this was a lyric on one of his songs and it not got no press and nobody was worried about it, then they wouldn't respond and they wouldn't have dropped him, right? But when it's bad, when it shows a bad light on the company, then they have to respond. They feel like they have a responsibility to respond.
So why should we let Reebok off the hook just because they dropped him? Shouldn't we be going harder at Reebok saying, why did you even sign him in the first place? Because it seems like they're getting off by saying, we found out about it, we got off. But really the truth is, if it wasn't a big deal, they probably wouldn't have even heard it. They probably wouldn't have cared. Yep. They probably would have just kept it moving. It's not like Reebok announced this controversy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That would be a proactive company like saying, no, that violates, we're going to call you out publicly. Nobody was even talking about this, but we don't like that. That's different. But just responding to controversy, I don't know. I don't think we should let Reebok off just because they dropped him.
I mean, I don't think we should let Reebok off either. But at the same time, when Reebok signed him, they were really thinking about, hey, this guy's extremely popular right now, and with his popularity, we're going to sell more shoes. Right? So as he sells more tracks, we're going to sell more shoes. And that's all they were thinking about. They knew what they were getting, but they didn't know that was coming.
Why doesn't anybody care what these people are talking about? Nobody cares. We don't care. You see what I'm saying? Like,
wait,
nobody cares. Like, I mean, just people in general, the people who listen to music, black people, white people, whoever. We don't care what these people are saying. We hear the stuff and we're just like, why don't we do anything about it? Like, why are we so okay with people saying such horrible things constantly?
Because, okay, honestly, when people who are not living a Christian life or who, don't want to kind of, go with that vibe, when they hear a Christian message or when they hear Christian rap, right, the reason they're turned off a little bit is because they're not speaking about anything they can relate to. You see what I'm saying? And they're not speaking about anything that they're aspiring to be. You see what I'm saying? Most of these rappers are doing stuff and saying stuff that other people aspire to be. For instance, if Lil Wayne or Drake or somebody says, I had a menage a trois last night, right? Then somebody's like, oh, I really want to do that someday. I like this guy. Or I'm at least listening to his life. He's flying a private jet. He has, women off in other countries. I mean, that's crazy. And people aspire to be that. People want to be that. So if he puts it in a different metaphor or if he says it whatever, like, it's okay. But if you're talking about living an upstanding life, not having sex with women, that's different to people. And people are not really, into that or ready for that. But if you're living that life, it's okay. And at least they think it's okay. I'll say that.
I think we have to decide what's okay. Are people really saying it's okay for Lil Wayne to say every girl in the world? Really? Are we saying that?
Yes.
To bring his daughter and some other girl on stage?
That is not just okay, that's hot.
That's okay for his daughter to be on stage while they rapping about every girl in the world.
Now, when you put the daughter in it, it's a little different.
That happened in real life.
Yeah.
Like, that was horrible. And it was all good. Still got their sponsorships. Yeah. No problem. I'm just saying, what are we okay with? Why is that okay?
But they still, like, even with that, when they re-aired it, they edited them little girls out of it. You know what I mean? Because they know it was wrong.
Yeah.
I think at the same time, man, unless you do something incredibly, unless two things happen with sponsorship.